This is Joe,
Michelle,
Melissa,
and Shannon with More Than a Sniff, where we talk about everything dog.
from training to nutrition,
from behavior modification to grooming.
From vet visits to dog parks.
From getting to know us to having guests. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to wrap up our My Dog Can't series. It's not, we haven't done a ton of it. We've done My Dog Won't Eat, My Dog Won't Come. And today we were going to do that my dog won't stop following me around. And the more I started digging into the I won'ts or my dog won'ts, what it really comes down to is the connection and the understanding of what connection is and having a relationship with your dog where if your dog won't stop following you around, is it because the dog is so nervous that you haven't given it the right information, or is it truly connecting with you? There should be a certain certain things that your dog should follow you around the house for, and other things they should know that you're just getting up to get a drink of water. If you guys are all relaxing in the living room and you get up to get a drink, that the dog should know that you're just getting up to get a drink, and they'll lay there and watch and make sure that's what you're doing, but they shouldn't necessarily have to follow you. So I really want to dig a little bit deeper into what the definition of connection as it relates to dog ownership, and really it should be the answer to all of your my dog won'ts through proper connection. So Michelle, when we're talking about the connection of a dog to you, describe that a little bit deeper as far as what does that mean?
It's really funny. As you were saying, my dog won't follow. I really, in my head, I was like, well, why would you not want your dog to follow you? That's a weird thing to me.
Yeah.
When people say that, I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, you don't want your dog to be with you?
Yeah.
So that's side note, totally. But I think connection is different for everybody, and I think that's the hard piece to find.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if I ever think of connection, I want everybody to have the relationship I have with Murphy. I want that because we have such a strong connection. And it's not that I don't have connection to my other two dogs. I really feel like I have a pretty solid pack, but there is definitely something more with me and Murphy.
Yeah. So what does that look like? If you were to describe that connection between you and Murphy, what does that connection look like?
It's interesting because I really think as I mean, I hate the word fur babies, but I really genuinely think of my two little dogs as more as babies, and I treat them like children. Where Murphy, I have that connection that we're more of a partnership.
Okay.
That's the best way for me to describe that.
Yep.
And we work as a team. It's not, for us, it's not who's dominant over who or who's the boss. I mean, there's definitely, he's a breeder. There's definitely some of that there. We've gone through dominance issues and stuff together in the past, and we've had those struggles, but we really, it's never, he's not doing this because he's trying to be dominant over me. It really is, we're just not communicating correctly. And we just have that connection now. And I mean, I really think with him, it took a lot of work. I think it took a lot of work to get that true connection. So the people that are out there that are like, oh, I don't have connection to my dog, it's still possible.
Right.
Completely. It's really hard, but it was really hard for us. Where Rambo and Prudence we were already connected. They're literally, I treat them like babies. And I think that is the biggest difference. I treat Murphy like a dog and like a partner, and I treat them like children.
Okay. We're going to dig deep into everybody. So I'm going to ask some really deep questions.
Boy, here we go.
What is it that you can, you're married and you and Brandon have an amazing relationship, and why is that?
Probably for the same reasons I'm describing Murphy, is that we are a partnership. Me and Brandon are, I mean, of course we definitely have our responsibilities in the house. Like, I definitely cook more than he does, and he does the stuff I can't do. He, fixes the cars and stuff like that.
Right.
But it has never, ever been a struggle in our relationship of, oh, who's going to come home and do the dishes and who's worked longer today. Like, that's just not a thing in our house. It's just not. It's just when you're home and something needs to get done, we're going to help each other out.
Right.
And of course, our marriage isn't perfect, and we struggle, of
Sure,
course. Just,
sure.
Like any relationship.
Yep.
But there is an understanding of who's good at what, and I will stick to what I'm good at and you stick to what you're good at. But that doesn't mean that Brandon doesn't cook sometimes, because he sure does.
Right.
There doesn't mean that I don't take the car somewhere else to get it fixed because he doesn't have time, because I can't do that. But
Yep.
so again, I think we just work as a partnership, not as a who is dominant over who. I think we work as a family, honestly. Like, I guess that's a good way to describe it, and a connection way too. I mean, and I know I describe my others as children, and I know there's that connection with some people with their dogs.
Yep.
But we work in dog terms. We work as a pack. We do. There's not one over the other. Or
do you have expectations of Brandon?
Of course, obviously, yeah.
And does he? What if he doesn't meet those expectations?
I mean, I'm not happy with him.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, there is somewhat of a consequence. I know that sounds so funny when you're talking about it.
I know. Yeah.
But of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yep.
And same with my dogs. There's consequences.
Yep.
But it's not like, I mean, we still work together to fix it as well.
Right.
I don't kick Brandon out of the house and be like, go find somewhere else to sleep. I don't, you just don't do that. And I don't do that with my dogs either.
Yep.
There are definitely times that I'm like, you have to go in your kennel because I need you away from me right now because I'm upset.
Right.
But then we get back together and we fix the problem.
Yep. And it's the same in a relationship. Is you just sometimes have to back away and then regroup and communicate. So do you feel like, because there's a relationship to have, that Brandon's open, Murphy's open, you're open, and your two littles are open, that everybody can move together in the household together? And do you feel like even the dogs take on different roles at times that is not the norm?
I mean, what do you mean? I mean, yes, there's obviously days. I mean, not obviously, but there's definitely days. I'm like, oh, you're acting weird. Is that what you mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think in especially with us who bring a lot of other dogs, and we bring other family members, pack members, stuff like that into our house. There's definitely times that, especially Rambo. Rambo's probably, Prudence is probably the most prime example, and it's because she's so quiet about when she acts weird. Yeah. She stops following us. She'll go upstairs and put herself to bed, and it's like, that's just weird. You're not a part of this. Right. You're not a part of this connected family. Yeah. And it usually is if we have a dog at the house that's particularly like raunchy or that we have to be weird about. Like, we have to put them away to let them out. It's like we are doing different stuff, different routine. She's probably, Murphy doesn't change much. He does, but it's not in the same way. Murphy's always with us. It doesn't matter. Like, and Rambo still wants to be with us. He just puts himself in a different corner. Right. Yep. Where Prudence is the most obvious. But we just work it out. I mean, that's the thing. You work that out with your kids, right? We just work it out. Yeah. Like, if she wants to be upstairs, I never force her to come back downstairs. Right. And I never would. If she's uncomfortable, I'm not going to make her be downstairs. Yep. But we just work it out that she's going to be more comfortable in her own house. Yeah. Right. So you change the picture so that she is there. Okay. What do you think the biggest error that people make in, 1, relationships with people, and 2, relationships with their dogs? And it might be the same thing. I don't think it's the same thing. Because I think you need to set up boundaries with people and with your dogs, but I think people with their dogs set up too many boundaries. I think with people, I mean, I guess it's different when we're talking like my husband, obviously. So if that's what you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we don't have that issue in our house, but I do think that's probably the same with people and their dogs. We have to have boundaries. We have to teach our dogs those boundaries, and our husbands. They need to know what we expect of them. We can't just. I can't expect Brandon to come home and do the dishes just because. And then get angry because he didn't do them when he had no idea I wanted them done. That's not fair. So there's a lot of learning together. But I think, especially with dogs, and maybe it's just because I do have a pretty good relationship with my husband, is that people, and I see it on a daily basis with clients, people set up too many boundaries with their dogs, and they don't let them just be involved. And they don't need to be in the kitchen while you're cooking, but your dog at that point should have a job and sit outside of the kitchen and watch you, which is totally fine. That's what my dogs do, and I'm not saying that's perfect and everybody should do that, but you shouldn't be sending your dogs away. You should want your dogs to follow you, and I've never understood that. I like that I don't have to go to the bathroom alone. Right, exactly. I do. Yeah. Yep. What do you think your biggest weakness is?
to your pack? Like if we could ask Murphy and Prudence and Rambo, what would they say your biggest weakness would be?
I expect them all to be too perfect. 100%. 100%. And I expect them to want to be with me all the time. It hurts my feelings when Prudence goes upstairs. And it's not her fault that there is a dog in the basement that is freaking out, and she's just like, I don't want to be a part of this, guys.
Right.
But it does, and I take it personal. And that's definitely my biggest weakness with my husband too, for sure.
Got it.
I expect my dogs to be with me all the time.
Nice. Okay, Melissa, you're up.
I'm ready.
So you are, you're newlywed, and but you guys have been together for a good stretch of time.
Yeah.
And you got Cooper when you were not married.
Yep.
And Yuki after you got married. And what was the biggest challenge that you had coming into a relationship and moving into this? I'm getting married, and somewhere there's like now, I don't know, it's a different communication, right? You're not just Melissa on your own.
Yeah. There's definitely kind of people expect a blended identity, if that makes sense. And that's something we've talked about before we got married. Like, we don't want that. We do want a blended identity, but we are individuals. Our family motto is whole pack. And we'll say that every once in a while, like, okay, whole pack. And Cooper and Yuki know that means, let's all get together and we just hang out. And that's kind of our just motto. We want to live our lives as a whole pack, not as one singular being.
Okay.
So we kind of expect differences and expect little quirks, and we love it.
Awesome. Yeah.
So for as far as being married, it doesn't really feel any different
Okay.
at all, which has been nice.
Nice. Okay. What do you think that Cooper felt from this coexistence, and then and you guys worked hard together with Cooper. I mean, both of you were very actively involved with her training. And then this event happened, and Cooper was a part of the wedding.
Yep.
And then we went on this huge journey.
Yeah.
Called the honeymoon. And what do you feel like changed in Cooper?
I think her confidence. The wedding was a big it took a lot of training. So Cooper doesn't like crowds, doesn't like attention from a lot of people. She has to, if she comes up to you for attention, she will give you her belly, and she wants your love. But she does not like being approached.
Right.
If that makes sense. And so the wedding was like, okay, she's going to be up front with us. Everyone's going to be looking at her.
Yep.
She's wearing a floral collar.
Right.
All this attention. So having that trust with her. And during the ceremony, it was actually really cool. Like, I'd look at her because she was facing both of us, but we'd make eye contact and kind of like, okay, and she'd settle and then kind of get back in. But anytime she got nervous, either Nick or I would give her this eye contact, and she'd go and, okay, settle back in.
Yeah.
But then the honeymoon, it was amazing. We went up Vancouver Island. We were mostly on like public lands, took logging roads, and we'd just let Cooper go and trust her. And it kind of was a big, so the wedding was a very, you listen to us, you behave, don't mess this up.
Right.
To go run on the beach, go play with seaweed, and we just trusted her.
Yeah.
And that coming from a place where we kind of, I admit we're micromanaging her a little bit, to show us what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And that our trust in her and her trust in us really grew from both of those.
Yeah, there's something to be said about a long road trip like that, because it's almost a survival. I mean, even though you and Nick were together prior to your honeymoon, was really just one of bonding and being close and not, being in the world and just doing your own thing, and taking her out of the country, which she doesn't know that. It's just a long journey.
Yep.
And you stopped and you survived together. And what do you feel like bringing Yuki into the pack after all of this happened? Where do you feel like Cooper changed, and how have you and Nick changed?
I think Cooper has taken on more of an adult role, and kind of before she was an adult, but not acting
Yeah.
really. Like
Yeah.
she still knew
There's
like
no
she
responsibility.
Yeah, no, she
Yeah.
didn't- like she has jobs and she has stuff she has to do, but
Yep.
she easily could rely on us.
Right.
And even when we were boarding dogs, like I don't want to deal with them.
Right.
Get them away. She
Yeah.
put herself away. But with Yuki, I think the whole trip, all of us being confident as a pack, but being a pack of individuals and accepting the differences.
Sure.
Introducing Yuki with that mindset of we're a pack, but I'm going to accept your differences.
Right.
You're not Cooper. We're not going to expect you to be Cooper. And her and Cooper, at first, were kind of like, what's going on?
Right.
But after about a week, they were yin yang.
Yeah.
Like they are, like she completes the pack.
Good. And do you feel like where you and Nick are at, do you feel like there was a shift with Yuki coming in?
For sure.
Yeah. And what does that look like?
Before it was, all of our attention was on Cooper. Hey, Cooper, come do this.
Yeah.
And now it's more balanced. So we give attention to Yuki, but then we also just let them chill. We're also learning more about our personalities in training dogs and working with dogs, and they're different.
Yeah.
But learning how, like Yuki responds to Nick differently than I, like she does with me, and the same with Cooper.
Right.
And learning how to accept that that's how the pack works.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm digging a little bit deeper into, our family life and being a little bit more intimate, a little bit more personal about this connection thing, but it is a whole picture.
Yeah.
It's not just I'm going to make this dog connect with me and I'm going to hand feed it and we're going to be on leash. It's everybody being who they are and being honest with each other, but also it's more than just having a dog. It's more than just training.
And I think, sorry, but
No,
I think when I have had clients like, I want to connect with my dog, but they try so hard that they push the dog away.
Right.
And I think part of it is, would you do that to a person?
Yeah.
Be my friend, be my friend, be my friend, be my friend. That person's going to hightail it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just live with your dog, be with your dog, play with your dog. Your dog's going to come.
Yeah.
But just let that process happen.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yep. All right, Shannon. You brought Louie into your home as a day one, like this is life.
1 second.
Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah. I mean, he was just, who is he? What is he? And how does he function? So give me a little bit of insight on who you and Mike are, because you guys are so opposite, but so much alike in such a different way. So describe yours and Mike's relationship first.
I don't know if I would say that we're opposite. That's interesting
know,
that
it's
you
funny.
say that, because I think that we're really similar.
Okay.
We're both artists. We both like technology. We both, I guess, have strong family backgrounds, like where our family is our friends. They're important to us. I mean, he's a man and I'm a woman, so we're opposite that way, I guess. We both really like similar things, games and nerd science fiction, fantasy things. We're both, he's, I guess, we're social introverts, so we can be social in situations, but we prefer to be at home with our core people that we like.
Yep.
And Louis is a reflection of that. Of all my dogs I've had, he is my baby.
Yeah.
My other dogs have been my friend. They were adult dogs that I met and got to know over time. And Louis I got to know over time too, but I got to know him through all the stages of his life. And so he is more like my child than other dogs that I've had. And he likes to go and do things, but he prefers to be at home with us.
Yep.
And so it's the dog is a microcosm of yourself.
Yep. Yeah. So when I say opposites, what I see between you and Mike, and I honestly don't know Mike all that well, and that's because he's more of like, I just, anytime I experience him, he's in his introverted like world, right?
Because he's at home. Because
Yeah.
you come and see him when he's at
Yeah.
home.
So, like, you are very fantasy, abstract, creative, and Mike strikes me as the more methodical driving piece
Logical.
to it. Yeah,
Follow the rules.
because I feel like Chris and I are a lot alike, but we're so, like, our brains get there differently, and that's more of what I like. What the way I see you and Mike is, like, you will get to the same place, but it's going to be completely different on how you get there. And so, what's Mike's relationship with Louie?
They're man friends,
Yeah.
buddies.
Right.
You know, they hang out together. They play games together.
Yeah.
He likes to teach the dogs tricks.
Uh-huh.
He likes to be the fun. We'll have treats and we'll do something fun.
Yeah.
Where I'm like more the rules, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
Keep everyone in line.
Yep.
You know.
So you've added a new one.
Yes.
And how did that change the dynamic of things?
I don't see a lot of change. I don't know her yet.
Yeah.
I'm getting to know her still. For Louie, I see him becoming more gentle.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know. She can't tell the difference between when he's mad and when he wants to play with her. I think that's hard to tell with bulldogs.
Yeah.
They don't have as much face.
Yep.
They don't have as much tail.
Yep.
To give you, they have a roundy body.
Yeah.
So they can't give as much information as another dog that has all those parts can give. And so and he's a like kind of a growly dog.
Right.
But the growls are fun and not meanness.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
But she can't tell the difference.
Right.
She's never had a bulldog brother
Right.
before.
Yep.
And so I noticed, over the weeks that she's been there that he tries to be softer and softer and softer with her to get her to play with him.
Okay.
So he's like, no, I'm really not mad. And he is being more and more and more gentle with her.
Yeah.
So, but we still play the games at, I'd say, the same level, the appropriate level for the dog. So,
Right, right.
For example, we play a lot of tug at our house.
Uh-huh.
And so the way we play tug all together is everyone holds on the thing, and like the humans moderate the tension between the dogs.
Yep.
So they can play tug at the same level, but all of us are playing all
Right.
together.
Right.
Or if we play tickle fight, and tickle all each other. And so we try to tickle each other at the level that is appropriate
Right.
for the dog.
Right.
So I guess we just don't go all out in our crazy thing. We try
Right.
to moderate to the level
Yep.
of what each dog, each person,
Yeah.
needs.
Yep. I think some key things that you had said that kind of reflect back to some things that Melissa said was, I don't know, I'm still trying to get to know her. And then it comes back to be my friend, be my friend, be my friend, right? And I think that is a huge piece of learning to connect with your dog is I'm getting to know you. And by getting to know you, I'm not micromanaging you. I'm going to set some rules that, and we do this with people as we get to know each other, right? As we start a dating process or we start a friendship, as you start feeling things out to find out what the rules are of the friendship. And that's respect. And that's where falling in love, for a lack of better word, starts happening with your dog. Is it takes some time. You and Murphy didn't fall in love for a long time. Chianti and I did not fall in love for a long time. And it was, her and I both had walls. I mean, as you guys know, I'm not the easiest person to get to know. And so you have to kind of dip in and see where test the waters, where we're at. And I think that's a piece that people miss from getting a puppy and from getting, an adult dog is, I want to get to know you and who are you and what story are you going to tell so that I can start setting boundaries and rules and creating a relationship that becomes a family or a pack that we move together and do things together. And I think that, what I'm getting at when we're talking about our own personal relationships, which is really weird as we're trying to relate it to dogs, is it's all the same. And why we can't give our dogs that same respect as a dog, just as we would a person coming into our life. Like, we give them that respect of getting to know, and then you go, yeah, this isn't working. Not every dog is in the right home. And I think it's respectful when people say, this is just not working out. And that's where Shannon, coming into your new dog, was in a home that bounced because it's just not working out. Well, we can pick on those people and say, shame on them for getting a dog and not sticking with it. But we can also say, how respectable to rehome a dog into a place that it is the right place, that they can thrive, that they can be a part of it, and that it's okay to be there because you cannot force a connection. I didn't go into owning Chianti, and I didn't think she was in the wrong home, but I also knew that I wasn't going, she's not going to fall in love with me any faster than I'm going to let her fall in love with me, right? And it's the same, it was the same with you and Murphy. I mean, it's the right home, but you continue to move forward where you never felt like, I can't do this. And it's okay to say you can't do this. It's okay to say this dog is not for us. And maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe it is the right dog. Maybe 10 years down the road, it would be the right dog. But Shannon, taking in everything that Ripley had, the complaints about Ripley, where is she at now in your family, and what do you feel like she's gained, and what do you feel like you've learned at this point from her?
From just the complaints that were given, as reasons for giving her away to me, I didn't see any of those behaviors when she was in my house. And I think it's important, like, when you get a new dog, maybe to not listen to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a new relationship.
Yep.
You are making a new relationship with this new dog, and neither one of you knows each other.
Right.
And you have to learn to trust each other and share. You have to share really everything with your dog to make a connection with them. You share your house. You share your food.
Right.
You maybe share your bed.
Yep.
You at least share a shelter, right? And then you have to share yourself and your time and your interests and your happiness, So maybe taking that approach, I felt like Ripley was a shy dog. And I think it was because she didn't know whether she could trust me, because she's been to some different houses and it didn't work out.
Right.
So who is this person? What is this new house? Is this going to work out for me? You know?
Yep.
And that's kind of the fun of having a dog you don't know, that you get to know them.
Yeah.
And they start to blossom, and you see their personality and their sense of humor and their sense of fun and their joy and what they love and what they don't love.
Yeah.
And that's how all relationships are. You share experience with your friends, and they share your life, and you share theirs, and it deepens over time. It's not an instant gratification. A relationship isn't.
Right.
It's not an app. It's not a social media. It takes time and effort on both parties. And if you're willing to put in the time, it's not immediate, but your best relationships that you have with your dogs, you realize when they're old.
Right.
Because you've been with them for 12 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And you have all that time and all those memories, like, to go back on.
Yeah.
So to have a new dog where I only have 2 months of memories.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, to have 12 to 15 more years.
Right.
So.
Right. If you could describe your pack in one word or one sentence, what would that be?
I would say protection. We protect each other.
Okay.
You know, we look out for each other in all respects of what that means.
Yeah.
You know, we're the safety for each other and the support and the confidence. And that's the whole reason to be in a pack, I think.
Yeah.
You know, the strength that comes from the numbers of working towards a common goal and being together.
Right.
So that's really what I'd say it comes down to.
Yeah. Michelle, if you had to describe yours, what would it be?
I have no idea. I hate that question. Because I seriously was thinking, I was like, oh, I have such different, if we want to call it, that connection with all of my dogs, and yet we all work out so well together. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it's so weird. And I'm fascinated by this entire podcast today because we are all so different.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought about it. Like, I knew we were all different, but like
Right,
I've never
right.
really thought about how different we all are. And yet we all do have great connections with our dogs, which is fascinating to me. Oh man, one word. I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I think we're all really comfortable with each other.
Okay. Okay.
And honest. And honesty.
Okay. And so what would you describe Shannon's pack from an outside looking in?
I have no idea. I don't know her pack that well. That's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair at all.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. But we make these assumptions, right? We get this dog and we have these assumptions as to who they're supposed to be. And that's my point. Like, how would you know? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know Shannon, we know her dogs, but we don't know, right? There's nothing imprinted in. We're not living in Shannon's house going, oh yeah, totally. This is, so that's the point is why we have these, we have these ideas in our head of what it, well, I could tell you who I want Shannon and her pack to be, but that's not who they are,
right.
And so, and it's just like me saying, well, you guys are so opposite. And Shannon's like, well, I don't think we're opposite, and it's so what my perception, is, and it's really, well, I know who we are. But it's surely not who others see us. If I had to describe your pack, I would call you the party. Like, they're all so different and they're all so funny and they have these funny little things that happen, and you guys are always just happy. Like, you're just like, life is just really like, just what we do. Like, you're the party. And so, what we see and how we perceive things and how other people see that, what that looks like. And then we want to be like you. Well, if I want my connection to be the same as your connection, I'm trying to be the party, where you're saying that you're like the comfort is like.
It's really actually funny because while you were asking Shannon that question, I was like, I know she's going to ask me next. I got to think of something really faster. And I was like, adventure is a good word for us. And then I totally put that on Melissa. I was like, no, that's Melissa's word. But I don't think that's fair either because I don't know how you guys live your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I just know that you guys are runners and you enjoy it. But I enjoy those things too. So it's just really funny. It's funny that it's not fair because I can't put that on you. I was like,
right. Yeah. So Melissa?
It actually is adventure.
Yeah.
So you're right on. We always want to go on little mini adventures, and that's kind of our pack motto, other than whole pack.
Yeah.
We like to think of every day as an adventure, and Nick and I will ask ourselves, how are we going to make today an adventure?
That's awesome.
And that's a very, that kind of keeps us grounded and let's keep us going.
Yeah.
And that's Cooper and Yuki's word for we're going to go somewhere. Like, let's go on an adventure. And they both, okay, let's go to the door. And
Yeah.
But yeah, when we're climbing or hiking or snowboarding, and we want our dogs to be involved. And, and life is an adventure, and that comes with the hiccups and the bumps. But looking back, it's super funny.
Yeah.
Or not funny, but like thinking about wiping out on the snowboard. Like,
sure.
It sucks when it happens, but we laugh at each other afterwards.
Right.
But that's just kind of our pack live every day like an adventure.
Yeah. So if I had to describe my my crew, it would definitely be the entrepreneurs. Everybody kind of has some weird drive to do something different and build and create and make money at it all at the same time. I mean, it's just, I feel like that's even just who my dogs are. Chris and I are very much so down that path. Cheyenne's definitely, our 3 kids are definitely down that, like, so independent and we're like builders of things, and that's who my dogs are. I mean, it's just, but Shannon, how would you describe my pack?
Well, I would describe your pack as the cowboys.
Right.
Adventurous, out in the Wild West, on the trail, out with the cows, that's what I see,
Yeah.
of your, I guess, and that's like more of a personal adventure, whereas I separate personal adventure from entrepreneur brain. But I mean, it's all, when it's you, it's all the same.
Yeah. Yep.
But for me, those are separate things.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Yeah. So I think what it comes down to is, what connection is and what we see it as, and we can try as trainers to tell you to connect. You need to have connection. But you have to dig deep and find out what that connection is. How do you connect with your spouse or significant other? How do you connect with your kids? And that's going to tell you how that connection is going to happen with your dog. And if it's not the right dog, the connection won't be natural. It won't just happen for you. Defining what connection is and how that all comes together as it relates to your dog, because we've domesticated these animals into our homes, and they need that. We can say they're, don't treat them like human beings, but they're still a part of the family. They're not human beings, but they're still a part of the family. Melissa?
I don't know if we have time, but it just reminded me of the story of Kahlua.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I got Kahlua, when was it? Like last April?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Last spring sometime, and she, her owners didn't want her. They said there were all these problems with her, and so Nick and I and Cooper took her in. This is before we had Yuki, to foster her. Working with her, and she was great. Like, we thought she fit.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper liked her, like they were close. And we kind of struggled for a while to find an appropriate owner.
Mm-hmm.
And then there came a point where Nick and I kind of sat down together, and they're like, okay, is she just going to be with us? But both of us kind of had this gut feeling like, no, it's not right.
Right.
And I kind of got frustrated over it. Like, why not? I like her. She likes me.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper likes her. Like, she fits. She has the routine down.
Yeah.
But just something wasn't right.
Right.
We found this girl who now owns her, and they are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
They go on trips together, and just watching them together, like, the first time I cried if I got to my car, because they are meant for each other.
Yep.
And that just really struck me, like, yeah, she fit in our home. It was good.
Sure.
But not nearly what it is now. And that's a really powerful thing to watch that connection.
Yep. And that is, I think, what we all strive for with people and their dogs, is to have that. It's that they don't have to be perfect. But when there's a connection, there's something real about it, and you feel it, and it does bring tears to your eyes. It does create that love where, people will say, don't let your dogs get up on top of you, but wow, what a connection that you have, that Murphy can climb on top of you and get on the couch and you guys snuggle.
I'd be really sad if that didn't happen.
Right. And so it's about that connections. It's about taking Louis through this journey to teach him how to be a dog when there was no dog to teach him to be a dog. And you've taught him to be in your family, and that he's the dog of the family, and that we now have friends that come into our family, and that it's a new journey for him. And that he has that strong enough connection to you to say, oh yeah, we can do this. And then he starts changing to make it work, because you're changing because there's another dog in the household to make it work. And so I think that there's something that is so powerful with the word connection, that somewhere deep inside you have to dig and find it. And we all connect to people in some ways, and you should connect to your dog in the same way, and it should never be forced.